Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Phillips, Senior Family Editor at Crosswalk.com. Today we're talking with Abby Johnson, the former director of a Planned Parenthood clinic in Texas. In 2009, Abby walked away from her position as director to join the Coalition for Life. Her book, Unplanned, chronicles the 8-year journey from college student to Planned Parenthood director to passionate pro-lifer. Hi Abby, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Could you discuss some of the disconnect you've observed among Christians in the abortion issue as you've journeyed from being pro-choice to pro-life?
The Guttmacher Institute, Planned Parenthood's research arm, they stated that almost 80% of women who have abortions are Christian. And to me, it wasn't surprising to me because most of the women I counseled would state that they were Christian and had always been pro-life. And I think that, but it's shocking to a lot of people, but it shouldn't be because, I rarely visit a church or go into a church where the pastor or, the leader of the church, the priest, is actively speaking out against abortion and speaking out for the sanctity of human life. And so, it shouldn't be surprising that so many women, when they find themselves in a crisis pregnancy, they don't feel like they can go to their church. And they don't feel like they can reach out to leaders in their church and their church congregation. That shouldn't be surprising because we're not even talking about it.
I just read an article yesterday that cited the Guttmacher Institute that showed abortions have been on the rise in the past 2 years when they previously had plateaued. So what advice can you give to your everyday Christian? What can they do?
Well, I always say there's a place for everybody in the pro-life movement, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, no matter what your abilities are, no matter what. There is a place for everybody. My 4-year-old daughter goes out to pray outside of the abortion clinic with me. There is a place for everybody. I don't think we get to a point where we can say, I think God's going to give me a pass on this one. We have to keep fighting this. Every day, that's my dog, sorry. Every day that we are complacent is a day that 4,000 children are dying. Almost 4,000 children are dying. And so we can't just sit back.
This is kind of a sensitive topic, but in reading your book, you discuss how you yourself experienced 2 crisis pregnancies.
Right.
Are you willing to talk about that a little bit?
I did have 2 abortions. One was when I was 20 and one was when I was 23. The first abortion I had was, I just kind of thought, okay, well, this is just a medical procedure, no big deal. I'm just going to make this choice. It's really the only option I have. And I didn't really think much about it. I just kind of shut it in the back of my mind and didn't think about it very much. I didn't tell anybody. The second time I got pregnant, I felt like I was this huge failure. Here I am again having another abortion. I'm, such a failure. My fertility's failed me. My contraception's failed me again. God has failed me by allowing me to get pregnant again. What's wrong with me? And so it was just this, this compounding feeling of failure over and over again. And so I know what it's like to be in that situation, to feel like you have no other option, to feel like you have no other choice. You have to make a decision. You have to decide whether you will let your abortion determine your future. When I left Planned Parenthood, I knew that I was going to have this big burden, on my heart and in my mind. And I knew I had to make that choice. And I believe wholeheartedly that evil rests in our past and our future because those are the 2 places that we can't control. And, I know that every day I get up and I think, all right, God, how are you going to use me? And, I think that the best thing that they can do, the only thing that they can do to find closure is to take their past mistakes and just to lay them at the foot of Christ and to say, how can you use them? And they will be amazed and how God will use their past mistakes and how he will use them for good and how he will actually bless them. And I've been amazed at how he has taken what I have done. I mean, the terrible things I have done while I worked in the abortion industry and my own 2 abortions, and he has used them for good. But that's what he can do. And so I just encourage women to, you won't have ultimate closure until you have peace within yourself and you have peace with God.
For more information about Abby Johnson, visit abbyjohnson.org.